All right, diving right in today. We've got this Reddit post, and wow, from our guy Cray. It's pretty heavy stuff.
Oh yeah, it's always interesting, people turning to these online spaces when they're hurting. I think there's something really powerful about connecting with people, complete strangers who might actually get what you're going through.
Yeah, totally. So this guy, he's talking about his ex and how he feels like she just totally used him. He was doing pretty much everything, like all the housework, paying most of the bills, cooking, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, I see. Right off the bat, that imbalance, can be a big indicator that there's something else going on. Was there anything about like how they talked about these things, like if they tried to split things more fairly?
He didn't really get into the specifics of those conversations, but he did say something that stood out to me. Like, she wouldn't let him see his female friends, but she could hang out with any guy she wanted.
Whoa, okay, that's a pretty big red flag right there. I mean, it shows a lack of trust and respect, which are, kind of the foundation of a good relationship. You got to let each other have friends, right? It's about respecting each other as people.
Exactly. And he said he tried to talk to her about it, how it made him uncomfortable. But whenever he brought it up, she'd just turn it around and call him manipulative or controlling, insecure, the whole thing.
Yeah, classic deflection. Instead of talking it through, actually having a conversation about it, she shut it down. That kind of communication, well, it can really hurt a relationship in the long run because you're not actually dealing with the problems.
For sure. And get this, just 2 weeks after they break up, she's already with a new guy, like one of her guy friends.
Oof, talk about a punch to the gut. I mean, he must be going through it, the heartbreak, the betrayal, just trying to understand what happened. That's a lot to process.
It's like his whole world just kind of blew up, you know?
Yeah.
And what gets me is he actually shared this, like, on Reddit for everyone to see. I mean, that takes guts.
It really does.
Yeah,
Shows how much we need to connect, right? Even when it's tough, even when it's personal. And maybe by putting it out there, he helps someone else who's feeling the same way.
absolutely. And the people on Our Guy Cry, they really came through. Like, the comments were full of support, advice, people sharing their own stories. It was actually kind of heartwarming to see.
That's what's so cool about these communities, Sometimes you just don't get that kind of validation from the people around you. But online, there's always someone who gets it.
So true. And some of the advice was, like, really insightful. One person said, people act based on their own issues, not your worth. Short and sweet, but it really hits home.
Yeah, it's a good reminder. It's easy to blame yourself when something like this happens, like it's your fault. But this is saying, hey, sometimes people are just messed up and it has nothing to do with you.
Right. And then there was this other comment. It was like, dodged a bullet, man. Sounds just like my ex. Gave way more than I got. Makes you feel less alone.
Oh, yeah, for sure. When you hear someone else say, hey, I've been there, it's like, phew, I'm not the only one. That can be really powerful, really healing.
Totally. People were giving all sorts of advice. Like, one person said you should try journaling to work through everything. And someone else said, uh, you know, focus on yourself and, like, set boundaries for next time. Good stuff.
Yeah, that's solid advice. Journaling can really help you sort through your thoughts and feelings. And boundaries, well, those are just crucial for any relationship. Got to protect yourself.
Definitely. And then there's some comments. They were kind of funny, like, the trash took itself out, and you're free of this parasite. Kind of harsh, but you can see that they're just trying to help him see the positive, right?
I get it. It's that relief, like, yeah, it hurts now, but this relationship wasn't good for you. It's a chance to start fresh.
Like hitting the reset button, whether you wanted to or not. Some people even said that this whole thing, as bad as it is, might help him spot these kind of red flags in the future.
Yeah.
Like, now he knows what to look out for.
Exactly. He's learned a tough lesson, but a valuable one, right?
Mhm.
About balance, about respect, about what a real partnership should look like. Now he can take that knowledge and make better choices.
Okay, so I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about something that came up in the comments. It's about, like, the whole societal thing, expectations about gender roles and how that plays into relationships.
Right, right. A few people mentioned that, how society kind of pushes this idea that men should be the providers, pay for everything, do all the housework.
Yeah, and even some women were chiming in, saying they've felt that pressure too, and how it can create problems.
It's so important to talk about these things,
Mhm.
about gender roles, about what we expect from each other. We got to challenge those old ideas and try to build relationships that are more fair and equal.
For sure. There was this one comment that really stuck with me. It said, this is why you don't give it 100% or near 100%. Equal partnership from the get-go. Sounds a bit cynical, maybe, but it's also about setting the tone from the beginning.
Totally. It's about making sure that both people feel valued, that both people are putting in the effort. It's not about holding back, but about building something together as equals.
Okay, so before we finish up with this Reddit post, I want to go back to something we touched on before about the community and support in the comments.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, right? How just sharing your experience can bring so much understanding and empathy. It's a reminder that even when things are rough, you're not alone.
Makes me think about the community we're building here with Voices of the Soul, with the podcast, and Shauna's YouTube channel.
Mm.
It's all about having these honest conversations, helping each other through life's ups and downs.
It's about connection, about realizing that we're all in this together, and that even in the tough times, there are people who care, who want to listen and offer support.
Beautifully said. So, as we wrap up our deep dive into this Reddit post, let's take a moment to appreciate the power of vulnerability, the wisdom we can find in each other's experiences, and the importance of building healthy, balanced relationships.
And for our listeners, think about this. What can you do today to create healthier and more fulfilling relationships in your own life?
That's a great question to ponder. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, stay curious, stay connected, and remember you are never alone on this journey. It's like, this is just one guy's story, but it really makes you think about relationships. Like, how can we all, try to make our relationships better, more balanced, where everyone feels respected and you can actually talk to each other, really understand what the other person needs.
That's such a good question. And honestly, I think it starts with ourselves. Like understanding what we need, how we connect with people, how we communicate. Once we get that, then we can bring that to the relationship and actually build something that works.
I like that. Yeah, it's like work on yourself first. Then you can really be there for someone else. And speaking of being there, we'd love for you to, join our community here at Voices of the Soul. We're all about these kind of conversations, the real stuff, the good and the bad.
Exactly. Sharing stories, sharing what we've learned, giving you the tools to deal with whatever life throws at you. And don't forget about Shauna's YouTube channel. There's even more there, more discussions, more ways to connect with people.
So yeah, if you're liking this deep dive, hit that subscribe button, give us a like, and leave a comment. Let us know what you think. We really do love hearing from you.
And as you go about your day, just take a minute and think about this. What can you do, like right now, today, to make your relationships better, stronger, more fulfilling?
That's a great thought to leave everyone with. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll see you next time. Stay curious, stay connected, and remember, you're not alone in this.